Hey, welcome back to Bible Study with me, Greg Kelley, a daily devotional of the New Testament chapter by chapter. And today we're going to be going over Matthew chapter 7. It's a late one tonight, but we're still getting it in. So now we've reached the last chapter of the trilogy of the Sermon on the Mount. Jesus has been laying out what his life in the kingdom looks like. And now we're wrapping it up with warnings and encouragement. And this final chapter, think of it as a final challenge. It's almost like he's saying, you've heard all of this, now what are you going to do about it? The chapter begins with a lesson about judging others. Jesus is exposing the human tendency we all know way too well, which is being really quick to see the faults of other people instead of actually discerning ourselves and seeing the faults within ourselves. Now, he gives this vivid image of someone with a huge plank in their eye, and they are very quick to see the tiny speck in someone else's. This point does not mean that we shouldn't discern and correct and also measure people's intentions or people's character. It's that we must deal with our own hearts first, the inadequacies that we have first. And then we can also help others after we help ourselves. Now, from there, Jesus encourages his listeners about prayer. He wants them to know that God is not indifferent. He isn't like a distant ruler who ignores his people. He's a father who loves his children, who gives good gifts. If we're broken and imperfect and we know how to provide for our families, how much more does God know how to provide for us? That's what he means by confidently asking and confidently seeking and to keep knocking. And now here's where I want you to pause, open your Bible, and read Matthew chapter 7 in full. It's not long, it's 29 verses, but read it carefully. It's incredibly impactful. Read it slowly, let the words settle in, and then come back here and let's talk about what it means to us right now in today's life. All right, welcome back. If you just read the chapter, you probably noticed how practical Jesus teaches. Very practical, very almost as if we need it today. And in the middle of all of this, he gives us the principle often called the golden rule. Treat others the way that you want to be treated. It's simple, but it's powerful. Imagine how different our homes, our workplaces, and our communities would look like if we lived by that one principle. It's not lofty. It's actually pretty simple, and it's very abstract. It's actually everyday discipleship. Jesus also talks about two paths, one wide, one narrow. The wide path is crowded, easy, and comfortable, but it leads nowhere good. The narrow path is harder, less traveled, but it leads to life. He's forcing us to consider something. Which path am I on? Which path are you on? Following him will never be the most popular choice, but it's the only road that leads to real life. I can probably say from personal account that I've never been more free, my mind has never been more clear, and my soul has never been more at peace than when I'm diving back into the Word right now and doing this stuff with you guys. He warns too about the people that look spiritual but are not authentic, the people that are putting up a front, the people that speak a really good talk but don't necessarily walk a good walk. Now, we have to be able to have this idea that we need to discern the people that we listen to. We must examine their fruits. That is the thing that's going to make us stand firm on being taught well or to be deceived. And finally, Jesus ends with a sermon with the story of two builders. One builds on rock and the other builds on sand. Both houses face storms, but only the one that's built on the rock survives. And that's his challenge here. Don't just hear his words, live them. Build your life on them. Otherwise, when storms come, and they will, everything will collapse if you're not built on the rock. So what does Matthew chapter 7 say to us today? It says, look in the mirror. Before pointing out somebody else's faults, look at your own. I almost think of this idea of this life that we're building, this wall, right? This great powerful wall, but we're so noticed on other people building theirs that ours never gets done. We can understand that God, he supplies us with the tools and the principles to build our own walls. And once we have ours built firm and strong, we can go and help others build theirs. He gives us these tools so we can lead a life of faith and one of principle and of fortification. Matthew 7 leaves us with a choice. Are we content with being listeners, or are we ready to be doers? Building on sand is easy, but building on rock is the only way to stand firm when the storms come. So just think about that. God bless. Amen.